I want to share a little secret with you. You might want to get a little closer for this one. It's not something I share often, and trust me when I say it's a game changer for your business. Okay, well, let's go. Come on, it's coffee time.
Good morning, Kerry. Just the usual?
Good morning, Ronnie. Yes, please.
Have a seat. We'll bring it right over.
Thanks, mate. You might have caught episode 11 where I spoke to you about the rainy day funds, having emergency money in your business so you can endure the difficult times and have those funds support your business when you least expect it. Today, I want to go to the next layer of savings for your business, the secret stash. Planning in business can really help us achieve great things financially and achieving our business goals. One of the many resources I offer are discussions on Clubhouse. Anyone is welcome to join these conversations, which are held on Fridays at 7 a.m. Central Time for anyone in the States, and the time conversion is currently 10 p.m. here in Australia. Join the community to get more comfortable with your finances in the Simply Biz Beans Club. Have you considered saving money in your business for the next chapter? It's very common in business to want things in the future. Maybe you'd like to expand. Perhaps you have plans of holding an office space. Or maybe you've got ideas about rebranding. All of these things are goals we set ourselves, and maybe we think of them as not super important right now, but now is the perfect time to start planning. Let's look at your website. We often build our first website ourselves or pay someone a small figure to build it for us. At some point, this might need some updates, an upgrade, or a complete makeover. When that time comes, are you doing the work? Do you have the skills to really make that difference, or would you be looking to pay someone to do it for you? If you would like to open a bricks and mortar location in the future, you may be thinking you'll rent a space. This is a great way to test the water of a physical location and seeing if it gives you the return on investment before you think about buying a building. And you may never buy a building. Renting a location might be part of your forever plan. Have you thought about the costs to move in? Most places will require a security bond, rent in advance, and then there's the fit-out costs to occupy the space. Maybe you need to purchase some desks or some furniture. What about computer equipment, sign writing, and even decorations? A few little appliances like a kettle and a microwave. It all adds up pretty quickly, and without our secret stash of funds to support us, we're either going to drain our current cash flow or even look to borrow funds to kick us off. I'm a big believer in paying as I go, both in business and in personal life. I won't lie, I've had all kinds of personal loans and credit cards in the past, and they've served a purpose at the time. But since becoming debt-free, I've made a pact with myself that moving forward, if I don't have the money, I don't buy the thing. For a number of years, my business had a credit card. This was before debit cards were accepted online, and it had a very low limit. It was strictly controlled monthly, never paying a cent in interest, and the banks must have hated me and my business. But let's go back to that secret stash. You may be wondering, how do we get the funds aside? And also, if I have no plans, you might wonder, why would you even do it? This is much the same principles as the rainy day funds. Just start putting money away each week or each month and start saving for the future. And of course, this comes after the rainy day funds. Let me just say that. You might have an idea pop up in your business in a couple of months' time. And we're entrepreneurs. Great ideas often lead to action. And the last thing you want is to succumb to the temptation of loaning funds to make the change you want in your business now. By having a secret stash building now for later, when that moment comes, you'll either have the money you need or you'll be well on the way to have it sooner if you've been putting it away. How much do I need, you ask? Well, that's completely up to you. If you have nothing in your sights, start saving something. It could be $100 a month. It could be $1,000 a month. Place it into your budget and just stash it away. If you do have something to plan for, work out now roughly what it's going to cost and when you might want to make it happen. Let's call it $5,000. Work out how much you can set aside and how long it's going to take you to get there, and see if you meet the goal deadline or if you need to tweak the number or the date to make it work. I get asked all the time, what percentage should I use? I don't really like to work in percentages. I want you to be in control of your own money, not to be dictated by percentages. Just for a bit of an exercise, let's look at using a percentage. Let's say it's 5% of your revenue to place into the secret stash. If your business revenue is $1,000 a month, that means you're going to save $50 a month. So if a goal in your business is to have extra funds to rebrand, and that's going to cost you, as an example, $5,000, this is going to take you 100 months to save the money. And by the way, 100 months is over 8 years. If you like that timeline and that works for your goals, go for it. To me personally, 8 years to be able to achieve that goal sounds a little bit far out. You might decide once you've done that calculation, well, I actually want to get there in 5 years. I think you get the idea. And that's a really loose example of why percentages aren't always the best way to do things. If your business revenue is higher, naturally the savings method of using a percentage will result in a higher savings amount. And that might also work for your plans. I want you to pick the method that's going to work for you. You may also decide to save from the profit in your business. This is another common approach and can also work just fine. My only concern is using the profit can mean less commitment to the savings. If we have a bad month and our profit is down, are we then tempted to not put the funds away? This is why I like to have the savings as an expense line, locked and loaded in my budget. This helps us strive for such goals when we commit to the savings as an expense rather than a nice to have or I will if I can mentality. And what happens if we don't have a secret stash? I touched on it before and I really want you to take note. We can be tempted quickly into making bad decisions with our money. You know, the shiny object syndrome. We get that idea or we see an opportunity, and without our own financial backing, next thing we are walking into the bank and applying for a loan in hope that we can afford it. Or we'll seek out those horrible credit cards that come with high interest rates that can lead us down a slippery slope of debt that could have been avoided. I think it's often something that we don't think about in our business is a savings plan, and certainly planning for those goals and those amazing things that we want to do in our business can really help us later on not only achieve those goals, but also not give us that unwanted stress and pressure of having debt in our business when we want to make the change. Thank you so much for joining me in this episode. I will chat again with you next week, and until then, happy biz beans to you.